And remember, you eat to survive. We don't eat as a luxury.
Yeah.
What we eat is a luxury.
It's a
but we eat we eat to survive. It's actually a necessity.
Yeah.
So our job is to give you the options of what you feel like eating. Because you know you have to eat, but you might as well eat what you want to eat.
Everyone, I go by the name of Adrian Daniels. Welcome to the Sound of Accra podcast. If this is your first time listening, this is the show where we speak of top Ghanaian founders, entrepreneurs, and creators worldwide with the aim of leaving you behind with meaningful takeaways that you can apply in life, business, and career. For today's show notes, I want you to head over to thesoundofaccra.com/menufinder. That's thesoundofaccra.com/menufinder. That's MENUFINDER. We'll have the show notes link on the display if you're watching on YouTube, and we'll have the link to the show notes on the podcast player or the YouTube player. Also, whilst you're watching on YouTube, please give us a like, leave us a comment, let us know what you think of this episode, and please do share with friends. If you're listening on Apple and Spotify, a 5-star review. So today I'd like to introduce our guest for the show, Alex Darko. Is that how I pronounce it?
How are you doing? Yeah, Alex Darko.
Alex Darko, my man.
Nice one.
He is the founder of Menufinder Africa. And Menufinder Africa is a curated food delivery platform that partners with the best vetted restaurants and food vendors to provide an easy way for you to discover and order quality food. They help people find the food you want, in other words, right? That's the easiest way to put it.
That's it.
Alex, I've been a fan of what you've been working on for quite a few years now, man. Congrats.
Thank you,
I think
man.
It was 5, you said 5 years or so?
5 years, yeah.
Congrats, bro. It's not an easy feat.
No, it's not. It's not. But thanks very much.
Yeah, man. And Happy New Year to you, my guy.
You too, man.
How you doing?
Yeah. Good. I'm good, man. We're all energized and ready for. I'll say ready for the year. January's already gone.
Oh, so it's done.
It's done. We're deep in the momentum. Man.
Ready to go. What's Menufinder working on? That's new.
I think for us, we started off kind of like as a restaurant directory, and we transitioned into food delivery only a year ago. So this was our first year, 1st December, all of that doing delivery. It went well. Thank God that it did go well. Our revenue is on the rise each month. So things are heading in the right direction. So really what we're trying to do is look at the ratio of expansion versus improving the quality of everything we have. We don't want to expand so much that we're everywhere. And then the quality of the service is also not going with it. It needs to be hand in hand. Yeah.
That's a very, very good point, because some people get too caught up with growing, but not improving the quality at the same time. Some people get carried away with quantity over quality, and it's really important.
For us, quality over quantity that's our motto. Yeah.
It seems to be that way, because I've used, Bolt Food, Glovo, all of these apps, Jumia, and essentially what's happened is that I've seen so many food choices, and it's hard for me to choose what is what. Understand? Yeah. It's been very, very difficult for me to choose which what is what. And I'll see even though I'll see top rating reviews ones and this, and I'll look at it and still not sure which one do I go for. Is it whatever? You understand? So it's
we're trying to actually be able to address and service people like yourself, because we want to do it so that every option on our app is solid. It's good quality option. So then it's really about, okay, what do I feel like eating? Not, do I trust ordering from this place? So we're trying to eliminate that side. So it's just about personal preference.
Because you've already vetted the vendors.
Exactly.
It's just now it's just touched. Now it's just for us to go and enjoy it. I heard you're quite a foodie, isn't it?
Oh no, food is right up my street.
Really?
So it's no surprise that I've ended up.
Of course.
All the people that know me growing up is like, this guy.
Oh my gosh. Hey guys, this is Adrian from the Sound of Accra podcast. I hope you're enjoying this episode. It's just a quick announcement. Now, have you guys been thinking about starting a podcast? I know everyone is starting a new podcast these days, but there's a very, very good reason why everyone is starting their podcast. Now, if you're thinking of starting, launching, growing, and monetizing your podcast, I'm here to let you know that I am now helping hundreds of podcasters around the world to do just that. And I've been doing just that for many years now. So if you're interested in learning how to start, launch, and grow your own podcast and get a piece of the pie of the podcasting world, and to be able to launch your own authority, launch your own brand, monetize, create a business, and so on and so forth, please do get in touch. Head over to a2zpodcasting.com and learn more about how we can support you and your podcasting goals. Let's talk about Menufinder Africa, right? So just quick elevator pitch for those that don't know about Menufinder. I know I introduced it, but from your perspective, I want to hear like your elevator pitch.
So Menufinder is Africa's first fully curated food delivery app. So basically, we're making sure that we've got the best hand-picked restaurants for discerning foodies that appreciate good quality food. So it's not necessarily, obviously, usually it kind of links with a certain price point, but it's not necessarily so. You've got a mixture of, Mexican, Italian, local foods, all of that stuff, but we're trying to get the best of the best. So it's like, you know that you've got like a quality choice where from the experience of browsing, finding your food, the images you see, the whole customer experience, the delivery, the rider, everything is like, this is premium. This is top.
Wow.
That's what we're trying to do.
I love that, man, because, there's just so much choice, and sometimes I don't know which app to trust, but the more I hear about Menufinder, the more I just want to use that and just uninstall the other ones.
It's funny because we actually get a lot of people who have come as a result of uninstalling.
No.
Yeah, because look, we're a smaller,
it's more niche, isn't it?
Company, so we can kind of and it's very niche. So we can address things differently. Our approach is different. Number one, you can speak to us on the phone. We have customer service team that you can speak to. With bulk Glovo, and the rest, it's difficult to speak to someone, and when they do, sometimes a bit out of context. Food may not arrive and things like that. We don't do any of that here.
Absolutely.
I've told my team that if we can't deliver one meal, then we should stop. You just shouldn't. We have to find a way to do it. If you get accidents, you get this, all sorts of things can happen, but we have to find a way to appease the customer somehow.
Yeah. So
that they're satisfied. Don't leave them thinking this was a waste of time. You can never do that. Never.
I love your mission and what you're trying to do. Because I remember when Portugal was playing Uruguay in the World Cup, I ordered both foods. I think KFC. For me and my dad, I ordered both food, right? And I think whatever reason, I don't know if it was a holiday or people were watching the game. Actually, no, it was Ghana versus Uruguay. Sorry.
Ghana
versus Uruguay. Sorry, yeah. So I think it was a holiday or people were just too so focused on the game during the game, And I'm like, afterwards, I realized I shouldn't have ordered during the game because people are going to be watching the game and not caring. Bought food, they could help me, we paid, but didn't get our money back tonight, a few days later or whatever. And it was just a nightmare. I was like, why is it so
frustration.
hard? Frustration, yeah.
At the end of the day, I always tell people that, look, when people order food, it's either they're hungry at that moment or they know they're about to be. Either way, they don't have patience.
This guy, food scientist.
You don't. You have to put yourself in the customer's shoes.
Yeah.
When you've ordered food and you don't know what's going on, how do you feel? So just translate the same thing, and be a bit empathetic towards the
Absolutely, because I was trying to speak to them, and I could only speak to them on chat. It was like I can't even call them. It was just so frustrating.
Yeah, exactly. You need to speak to someone.
The restaurant doesn't even pick up. Who's the middleman?
Exactly.
It's a joke. It's an absolute joke.
Exactly.
Okay. And I want to know, Menufinder Africa, right? Menufinder Africa. Why is it Menufinder Africa? I mean, you have other restaurants across Africa?
Not yet.
But is that the plan?
Definitely. The plan is really to be in every available, serviceable African market as the leading food delivery choice.
Yeah.
So that's the plan. The idea, I mean, they're all there in my head, man. They've been in my head for the different markets. But, I always think about a situation where if I fly to Lagos or I go to, it could be anywhere, Tanzania, Ivory Coast, wherever. If I land, I should be seeing Menufinder. I should be gifted with a free delivery, free meal to your hotel or whatever, wherever you're staying. Just a seamless transition from if you're an existing customer or you're a new customer, but that is the place. You should see the branding, you should feel it, you should get a good experience, good rating, good prompt, and then you think, you know what, I want to try this again.
That sounds like the perfect customer journey. Like what in terms of your past experience or whatever knowledge has got you to make Menufinder this great? Like what drives you to make it this great?
I like seeing people happy, man. I like seeing people happy, but I had a strong background in sales. So, just the psychology of sales, what makes people buy things? Why do they buy things? What makes them happy?
Yeah.
Are they happy? Can you predict those outcomes? Yeah. Can you shape those outcomes? Can you reverse from someone who's completely livid to leaving the shop or wherever smiling?
Yeah.
And I've been able to do that in different situations.
That's
So it's
insane.
just taking all of that and then bringing that same work ethic into this same business so that it translates from, from the executives to ground staff to riders. And riders in particular, because you can do everything right in the office. The touch point for the customer is the riders. Obviously, they may speak to someone, they may not speak to anyone during the process, but they're going to speak to the rider or engage the rider to pick up their food. So if everything is excellent and then it just flops there, then there's no point. So how to translate all the way through.
You're going to cover every touch point. Every touch point you've got to cover, because it all kind of like, it echoes your brand and what you're trying to do.
It does.
Very, very, very important. Very, very important. But I think in terms of you trying to dominate Africa and get there, I think you're going to get there, man. And I think there's some very good recent news in terms of how you're getting there. I mean, this is your LinkedIn post. In 2022, we began delivery of 3 restaurants in one area of Accra, East Legon. By the end of the year, we had onboarded 30 more restaurants, delivering in 6 more areas in Accra. As a result, our revenue has increased by nearly 2,000%. It's insane, bro.
Yeah,
the exciting part about these numbers is that we've managed to do this without the significant investment many startups need to scale. That's very, very true. However, this will soon change. We're excited to start 2023 with more partners committed to financial investment, which we'll announce soon. In the meantime, watch this space and get in touch with us if you'd like to see more about our growth journey. And this was like this week, right?
Yeah, that was
that post went out
Chief
from your
Marketing
company
Officer
this
Rima.
week.
She put that out there.
Fantastic.
And it's accurately so. We've done this completely bootstrapped. Thank you very much. We're busy fundraising. We've got some commitments coming in. It's all a process. So once things are finalized, then we'll make the necessary noise.
That's fantastic.
But we're really excited to try and really make a polished product. If you look at our competitors, Jumia Food has stopped at the moment. Actually, wow. I think for whatever reason they've stopped the food part. I think they're doing the electronics and Amazon style. But so main competitors really Bolt, Glovo. These are all billion-dollar companies. Bolt is from Estonia. Glovo is from Barcelona. But these are billion-dollar companies that are coming to take up majority market share. And I don't feel like that's right.
Because Africa, we need to own our market.
Yeah, I mean, our direct comparison is that if, for instance, every country, these companies are going to go and conscript maybe 3,000, 4,000 restaurants. Ours is quality over quantity. So we may only conscript maybe 300 restaurants, but it'll be 300 of the best. And then we'll layer value-add services on top of that for people to enjoy the experience.
Again, quality over quantity.
That's the plan.
Because I think what happens with these companies, I think they get too stretched. They get too overwhelmed, and they can't deliver, and the customer service drips, it leaks.
That's the thing, and that leak kind of goes through all the people in the value chain. So you've got the merchants, then you've got the customers themselves, you've got the riders. So if all of those people start getting unhappy for different reasons, it destabilizes the whole proposition.
Yeah.
So we've built good relationships with the restaurants. I mean, how quickly they signed up was like literally within 2 minutes of a conversation, because they've known us for a while. We've done stuff with it, videography, reviews, and other things.
Okay.
They trust us. That's the main thing. They trust us.
Yeah.
There's more restaurants. We're adding a Cuban restaurant this week. It should be quite interesting.
You're adding a new restaurant this week?
Yeah, a new restaurant this week. So we're trying to be careful and scale in a way that makes sense. But we do need to get the right variety. We've kind of seen now how the system works. We know, yes, okay, we can create revenue. We've got recurring customers. Customer base is growing. Now, what do we need to offer them? Do we have everything that we need to offer them? So we're now looking to make sure we do that and things are branded properly, and people feel our presence a bit more this year.
I've definitely seen how you're able to kind of stand out amongst the competition, because I think out of all of them, yours comes across as the most caring about customer service and the end user experience. And also the nicheness of restaurants that you have, like, for example, Booker, right? Booker's on your books, right?
Yeah.
I've never seen Booker on Bolt, Glovo, or any of these other apps. So you're also going for ones that aren't even on other platforms. So I think for me, the nicheness of variety and then the end-to-end experience, that's going to keep me coming back and back.
Thanks. That's good. We'll be pushing to improve that
100%,
more and more.
Absolutely. And speaking of like restaurants and delivery, What locations are you in Accra? You all across?
So mainly, most of the restaurants are between East Legon, Cantonments, Osu. But what it is, we deliver up to 10 kilometers from the restaurant location.
Got you.
So
Okay.
whether it's Belina, Bella Afrique, we do 10 from there. It means that you can kind of hit airport side, Canton side. You can also hit East Legon side.
The prime areas, basically.
Yeah, so it's anywhere from the restaurant location, because it's difficult. We get people saying, "Oh, can't you just deliver to us?" Yeah, like different, or yeah, for a different plate, and it's like we can't do that, because by the time they'll say, "Oh, it doesn't matter, I'll just microwave it and you pay extra." You'll say that now when the food is taking long. So it's fine lines. We're toying with some kind of potential Menufinder Plus type subscription that allows people to increase radius, maybe to a certain degree, for certain restaurants. It also has to depend on how fast does that restaurant normally prepare food and stuff. Because when they do it in 20 minutes, it's fine. When they do it in 40 minutes, 45 minutes, 50 minutes, then you've still got X amount of journey to it. So, it can get a bit tricky. So you can't serve everyone.
Yeah.
The most advantageous element, I guess, for the merchants is that if they have more than one location. So like we do Fika Tea House, and they have a La branch. They also have, then it's nice, man. Caramel Lotus, that's the one.
I need to go.
That's the one I love. But they also have East Legon as well. So the catchment area is increased by the fact that they have these two locations. So obviously, as people get more locations, then that will also help get the spread of their customer base.
What was it like setting this all up? Like, you seeing other people, going at it, Jamir's, Bolt Foods, all these people. What was it like for you setting up? Was it as a whole conversation?
Manic. It was manic, and it was really, kind of, you really had to kind of put yourself in the customers. So you're always thinking like customer service provider, at every turn, at every instance. What does it mean for us? What does it mean for them? What does it mean for them? What does it mean for us? And try and do things as objectively as possible. Because when you build these things, it costs. We've done it bootstraps. We put about $35,000 in ourselves in the whole platform.
That's fantastic.
But when you do that, then you have limited resources. You can't afford to be wrong too much. But the thing is, when you do a startup, you're gonna be wrong with something. You're just gonna make some assumptions that are not correct, and the market is going to show you who it is, whether you think you know it or not. You think you know it through and through, and it's going to come and show you that, no, this is what I actually...
You can't swim against the market.
No, exactly. No, you can't.
The market always wins.
Exactly. The market always wins. So it's not been... But I think we've gotten better at learning and listening to the data, because the numbers don't lie. People's habits are linked to certain things. So if they're ordering, it means they're having a good experience. So what is causing them to have a good experience? Is it the food? Is it the user experience, customer service? Is it the speed? Is it a combination? Like, you know what I mean? So once we dig into those things, you start understanding what is actually making your customers kind of come back.
Yeah, I think startups and scale-ups and companies, I think data today is the key thing in forming their growth. Their growth, right? You said you just talked about 2,000% growth. I'm sure data was a big part in that. Looking at the data, rinse and repeat on what works, and maybe stripping back what doesn't work.
Absolutely. Even now, I mean, we currently have to do, and we've been doing anyway, a review of some of the restaurants, because there are restaurants that we thought would work, and maybe haven't worked as well, and maybe there's certain things that need to be added to allow them to work as well.
That's
so it's just assessing, so we can kind of see which ones we need to kind of keep and which ones we maybe have to review and maybe revisit later on and all that. But yeah, the data is king.
Data is absolutely king. Yeah. And what made you wanted to go into the food? I mean, I know we talked about like your passion for food and customer experience and just making people happy, different great experiences. What made you want to go into food delivery per se?
I mean,
or the on-demand, food delivery.
I think it was a logical progression from where it started, because originally it was like 2017. It was Mother's Day, and wife, I said, we should go and get some food. So I said to her, okay, have a look and see what they've got. Meaning, check online and see what the menu's like. She went online, couldn't see anything.
Was this in the UK and Ghana?
This is here in Ghana.
This is in Ghana, right?
And so there was a restaurant 2 minutes up the road. So I said, okay, cool, we'll just check it on the way. Went there, it was closed.
No.
So I mentioned, I think Coco Lounge and another one.
Yeah.
And one had a partial menu, and it was Vida, yeah. They didn't have the menu online. And then she was just like, for goodness sake, somebody should just... And I said, well, we're somebody, if we're having this issue, someone else is probably having an issue. So then we started kind of, got a web developer and started creating a directory of the restaurants and the locations and the reviews and the menu and pricing and all that stuff.
That's how the curation started.
That's how it started. And then, but the issue there was that a lot of people weren't representing their food very well. So they had all these dark and dingy pictures on the internet. So then it was going to make our website look like some, I don't know.
You don't want that.
So because I obviously had a passion for photography, I do everything from my phone and I just taking good pictures. So it started to look nice. Then obviously it translated into Instagram. And then from Instagram, I think I needed to kind of convey something once. And it was easier to say it to the camera and show the food. So when I did that and took a bite of the food, people loved it. So then it became like into the review component, so then it became more doing content for restaurants and things. The delivery side was always there. People wanted us to do delivery in year one.
Wow.
But it wasn't feasible. I mean, we didn't have I didn't have enough insight or knowledge to be able to even try and pull that off. I wasn't even prepared to try at that stage because it would have been too premature. And then, as I think we just got to the point where, with COVID hitting and all that, we had to turn our priorities.
If no one's
going to go outside for years, people are still going to eat. And remember, you eat to survive. We don't eat as a luxury. What we eat is a luxury. But we eat we eat to survive. It's actually a necessity. So our job is to give you the options of what you feel like eating. Because you have to eat, but you might as well eat what you want to eat. It's a quote. I think I always forget that quote. You need a place to eat, you need a place to sleep, and something. Those basics. Those basics. Now it's all colorful in the options and how you do those things, but those are basics.
Wow, you're doing a fantastic job. I mean,
thanks, man.
You've taken a problem that you've experienced, you and your partner have experienced clearly, and you've evolved that into an actual solution that you've given to the world and to the market, to Africa. What countries, speaking of Africa, are you thinking of kind of expanding to next?
I mean, the obvious one is Nigeria. Everyone says that, the numbers. I mean, it makes sense also because, I used to work for a payments company, and we partnered with a company, InterSwitch, over there in Nigeria. So I used to work in Nigeria, like going there maybe once a month for about a year and a half. So I got to go around VI and see some of the places and the restaurants. So the vibe is ready for people like us.
Yeah, Big Victoria Island is buzzing.
Exactly. Yeah, it's quite nice, man. Fahrenheit, Blowfish, all these places.
Oh, man,
Echo Hotels and all that. Yeah,
Echo Hotels.
Already.
Exactly. Too much.
Exactly. So I mean, Nigeria, Ivory Coast, South Africa, East as well, Tanzania, Rwanda, Uganda. We want to get into those places. I think there's always room for the curated nature of things. And I think if you look at the way, because food delivery businesses didn't used to they made revenue, but they weren't really making profit until COVID hit. So even the big ones like Deliveroo and Uber Eats,
just breaking even or maybe making a loss just to hang in there.
I mean, they burn so much cash because they're expanding to so many markets and carrying so many overheads and stuff like that, which is fine. But I think where people were paying for convenience before, now you look at the way the economy's gone. People are paying for, they were paying for convenience, but now that it's like cost saving versus convenience. And at the moment, people are choosing cost saving. So if you look at the West, food delivery and stuff is kind of shrinking a bit. You got all these big startups that are having to lay off staff and all of that.
Because they expanded too quick.
It's crunch time.
Too quick.
People spending power has changed. But here, although we've had our issues with the inflation, you can see things creeping back up. I was in a supermarket yesterday and I was looking at the prices of things again. It's gone back to where it was before.
It's gone back normal.
It's gone back. No, not to normal, to the high end. Cost of. But anyway, the point is here, you've got so many diaspora coming back. And these are people who are prepared to pay for the convenience. So they're not so much looking at the cost saving side. They're more looking at, we want the thing to work. And if I have to pay a bit extra for it to work, I'll do that. Because we all know in Ghana, we have a system that we navigate the system isn't really built.
Yeah.
It's just an environment that we're
I
navigating.
know, right?
So
It's just
but
so true.
it lends itself to an interesting opportunity.
It's so true, man. Oh man, I totally agree with that. So yeah, I mean, leads me to my next question. So the market climate and opportunity. So right now, I think it's an interesting time where, I mean, I think COVID has probably sparked this and the work remote culture. Like, I think we're in an interesting age for startups, scale ups, and companies where, people are trying to deliver more and more through the internet.
Yeah.
On-demand food delivery services, on-demand grocery shopping. Shout out to Consume Shop, one of my previous guests. 60-minute delivery in Accra, apparently, but there's traffic in Accra, so we don't know if that's even the case. And then you have a lot more people, digital nomads, people working remotely, so they're delivering services online, freelancers working online. We're in this digital revolution and this startup revolution as well, because more people are also starting startups and even their jobs, and they're starting more businesses. You understand? This is not just in the West, but this is also in Africa. People are now, they got more confidence, and people more want to be an entrepreneur more than ever before. So I want to know your perspective, the market climate and opportunity for on-demand delivery startups in Africa. Like, what is that? What's your overview on that? Like, because it's an interesting space that we're seeing. Like, of course, you had Uber come on. Uber, you got, in terms of ordering a ride-hailing app, you got Uber, you got Bolt, you got Yango in Ghana, and some other ones, right? And then from the food perspective, you got you, and then other players as well. So it's an interesting market, and then you still see people trying to enter that market, and people even coming and going and leaving that market. What's your outlook on this whole?
I think the opportunity is there. Like a lot of these things, they work in saturated markets already. You got Uber, Captain, all these different ride sharing in England, for instance. But here, because of there are like physical problems that cause delays and things, such as traffic, like the congestion, all of that. That's why there's so many Okadas, bikes, and all that stuff. It's just quicker to weave through the traffic and all of that. So it just makes it easier for the cost of things is too high to transportation. It's funny, I was just listening to some guy and he was talking about how the cost of transportation is higher than the cost of people's rent. They actually spend in Africa, people spend more on transport.
That's disgusting.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, Uber.
And it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense.
So expensive now.
The opportunity is there for anybody who wants to bring some kind of convenience and make it easy. Now you've got the understanding and the education and the literature for the literacy, should I say, for people to be using smartphones. Like the guy you won't expect, the security guard who's sleeping on the job like that, on the corner like that, he's just there. He's there with iPhone 7 Plus, with a cracked screen or maybe a repair screen, whatever. But he's got an iPhone. 100%. And you think to yourself, normally you might not attach someone with his earning power to a device like that. But people want that. They find what they want. That's it. With consumers. So people are used to using smart. And then people used to say this kind of thing about, the competition. Oh, what are you doing about Glovo and Bolt? I said, look, it's fine. Let them educate the market, man. Let them educate the people how to order. Now we'll show them where they should be ordering. Clever. So, you know what I mean? It's all a matter of perspective. I think there's a lot of room for people. I think the future of how you even really solve food delivery in terms of the logistics and timing is really to run it through a network of cloud kitchens that the merchants have. And I think, so we're looking at how we can maybe own that kind of value proposition for them to help them lower cost of expansion. And then, so if someone is sitting there, say for instance, restaurant called Living Room. Yeah. Lovely food. Yeah, so we have them on the app as well. They're in East Legon. Someone in Kaneshi wants Living Room. We can't deliver. Yeah. If they choose to deliver themselves, the restaurant, they can. But it's at the risk of not knowing whether the food gets there and all that stuff. If Living Room has a cloud kitchen in Dansuman, now when you order from Kaneshi, you get your food within 30 to 40 minutes, and it's piping hot, it's ready, it's quick, and it's easy and they haven't had to put another restaurant there. They just had to put, a mobile kitchen that can produce. So if you do that in other areas, and then we tie exclusive delivery to that, then I think that's where
Yeah, I think this is something which is quite new. That's emerging. Like I don't know. I think the right term is like a dark kitchen or something.
Dark kitchen, the same. Yeah,
like people like Mr. Beast with his Beast burgers.
Yeah,
people like that. They've gone into that.
I mean, even in England,
even in England as well.
Park Royal,
Yeah.
Park Royal services a quarter of London's deliveries.
Wow.
They've got a huge cloud kitchen
It's like
site.
there before I came as well.
Yeah. So
I went into, where did I go to? Tim Hortons. They have really nice hot dogs. Oof, they have like these I think it's cranberry.
The foodie.
I'm not much of a foodie, but I do like certain things.
Nice,
yeah,
that sounds good.
Yeah, so it's an interesting time that we're in, man, honestly, and I think there's opportunity for us to capitalize. Definitely taking the opportunity, and I can see from some of the terms and the words they're using and some of the stories that you're sharing, you're definitely growing in maturity in this market, man. So I'm looking forward to the next 5 years.
Yeah, it should be.
Africa has.
Should be exponential growth. That's what it should be.
And speaking of which, 2023 plans?
Plans really are to secure investment. Really raise funds at the beginning, tip of the year. Raise further through the end of the year, but really put money in the tech operations and marketing. Really want to make sure that people see us and feel us everywhere. And anytime they think food, they just see red and then they think Menufinder. That's all we need to achieve.
I love your vision, honestly, and I'm excited for your vision.
Thank you. Any
tips for those that want to get into this space or similar startup on demand space?
Yeah, there's room. Just think about what you really want the customer or your end user to experience. What do you like? Think about the longevity of it. Do it as something that you can sustain. Build a culture around it so that it's not just you, it's your employees and your team and everyone that sings the same song. So when they ask questions or they experience people from Menufinder or wherever, that it's the same story that people are singing. The customers are saying the same thing, the merchants are saying the same thing, the riders are saying, the employees are saying the same thing. Because once it's sincere, then it will last. And just make sure it's solving a problem. Make sure it's solving a problem that is a real problem, not just something that's nice to have. Because sometimes you can easily do that. And we've been guilty of doing that in some of the features within the app or something. We want it to be there, but do we need it there? Are people using it? Look at the data again, back to the data thing. Yeah,
it's important to have the right features in your roadmap. Otherwise, it just becomes a nice to have and not a need to have.
But I think also you just take your time to survey the market and understand it. As I said, people wanted us to do this in year 1. We've done it in year 5 because it made sense. Not just the financial sense, but it made sense for us to understand how we could put this together. We built the relationships. We understand the market. We know a lot of things that we didn't know before. So take your time and then you'll be able to figure it out.
Fantastic. Alex, it's been a fantastic conversation. Most startups I know fail in the first 3 years. Not only do they fail in the first 3 years, you've launched a startup based out of Africa. And you're in year 5 and you're still going.
Still going.
Brother,
thank God, man.
More props to you.
Thanks so much.
More props to you.
Appreciate it.
Where can everyone find you?
We're on Instagram at Menufinder Africa, but I warn you that your mouth will be salivating. The images. You can download our app, Menufinder Africa, on Google Play and App Store as well.
Fantastic. So we'll have all of the links, references, and the nuggets that me and Alex have shared for this episode. So for that, once again, you can head over to www.thesoundofaccra.com/Menufinder. That's thesoundofaccra.com/Menufinder. That's MENUFINDR. We'll have the link in the podcast and the YouTube description. And please do give us a like. Let us know what you think of this episode on your way out. And please do leave us a review on the podcast platforms, whether you're listening on Apple, Spotify, etc. Alex, thank you so much.
Thanks so much. You guys are doing a great job, man.
Thank you. We're trying, man. We're trying. Doing this for Africa, man. Just like you.
Thank you. Nice one.
And we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Hey guys, this is Adrian from the Sound of Accra podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. It's just a quick announcement. Now, those of you who may have been watching or following the podcast for quite some time now, I would like to hear from you. What do you think of our podcast? What topics do you want to hear from us more? What guests do you want to see? What kind of episodes would you like to see or hear? Please let us know. Drop an email to info@thesoundofaccra.com or fill out a short form in the description below, and me and the team will get in touch with you. Also, if you would like to sponsor future seasons, please do get in touch, info@thesoundofcrowd.com, or we'll drop a form in the description below, and we will be able to share some information and our decks in terms of how you can get involved in sponsoring a season. And finally, we're working on a paid private community where like-minded Ghanaian creators, entrepreneurs, and even others from the greater African diaspora can come together and up-level themselves as an entrepreneur, as a creative, as a creator, or as an authority in their industry, learning how they can, do better in their fields. Drop us an email, info@thesoundofcrowd, or fill out the short form below, and you'll get more information about that coming soon in 2023. Thank you for watching. See you.